Support WrestleTalk!
Thank you for your support on Patreon, Supernova Steve Harris. The Viking Experience get a new name, Bobby Roode gets a new name, and a new moustache. Sexy. Bray Wyatt's new character has finally been revealed! You've got to trust me, it's a lot more terrifying than that image suggests! And several Superstar Shake-Up moves have been scrapped. Click the timestamps in the video description below to go straight to any of those stories. I'm Ollie Davis. Give us a subscribe, press the thumbs up button, and answer our question of the day in the comments. What do you think of Bray Wyatt's new gimmick? Because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere! And click the eye above my head to give your rating of the show, where you can choose from Rawsome, Core, Average, Poor, and Rawful, as I review the 22nd of April 2019 edition of Monday Night. The dastardly Triple H opened this week's episode by coming down and... well, actually, he was a babyface last time he was on screen because he was facing Batista, who beat up Ric Flair. Oh no, okay, he's hugging Seth Rollins now. He's definitely a good guy at the moment. Seth and Trips went over how Rollins beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 35 for Hunter to then announce two triple threats for tonight, with the winners fighting in the main event to crown Seth's #1 contender for Money in the Bank, which would have been cool if Michael Cole hadn't already announced that in the opening intro on commentary. So there was no point for Triple H to be out there. Then it was time to party like it's Raw in 2017, as each person involved in the main event mix came out one by one to say why they'll be the next Universal Champion. Seth said he can beat them all though, because he's Seth frickin' CrossFit Jesus Rambo Apocalypse Rollins. The first triple threat was the brand new, not seen in years combination of AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and Samoa Joe, all wrestlers who've just been drafted over from the Blue brand. Welcome to Monday Night SmackDown! I'm being somewhat facetious here, as it was actually a really fun match, based around the template of AJ and Rey doing wrestling together, and then Joe coming in to kill them both. The finish was a terrific use of the triple threat format, with Rey hitting a 619 on Joe for AJ to catch Mysterio in mid-air, hit a Styles clash onto him, onto Joe, and then pick up the win to advance to the main event. The crowd seemed to be getting into the Iconics pre-match promos next, faintly chanting along with their iconic catchphrase. It's a promising start of WWE rebuilding them both after a year of ineffective booking, which was undone almost immediately when Naomi rolled up Billie Kay in seconds to win. The night's second triple threat saw The Miz go against the might of Baron Corbin's Midgard of Evil, featuring Drew McIntyre. Where's Bobby Lashley when you need him? Corbin quickly turned on McIntyre because it's every man for himself, and the three proceeded to have another really fun match with a somehow not that contrived Tower of Doom spot with an air raid crash powerbomb combo. After an exciting sequence of near falls, Corbin stole Drew's pin after McIntyre hit Miz with a claymore, so Baron advances to the #1 contender's main event. But the real question is, how will the Midgard of Evil cope with this new rift between them? Probably by never addressing it in storyline again, because the pull
of Baron Corbin's Midgard Vortex is just too strong!
Sami Zayn continued to be one of the best promos in the company next, having an entire in-ring heel segment to himself, showing his holiday photos from when he was out injured, and revealing how he started to feel dread upon returning because of the toxic culture WWE fans have created. This is nothing new. It's simply the "you fans cheap heat WWE ran into the ground last year," but Sami is so good at delivering it, he's made it feel completely fresh. After being announced as Raw's draft from 205 Live in last week's Superstar Shake-Up, Cedric Alexander made his main continuity re-debut against Cesaro here, as Cesaro's also on Raw now after main eventing SmackDown last week, and without the reportedly injured Sheamus, but still using Sheamus's entrance music and the bar's Titantron. What are the rules? What are the rules. Looking at this match on paper, with it being Alexander's re-debut on Raw, you might think it'd be a showcase to get him over. But that's not what happened at all. Cesaro took 90% of the offense in a match seemingly designed to get him over, which is great for the Swiss Superman, but not so good for poor Cedric. After the Usos and the Revival had a tense exchange of words backstage, WWE continued to build Raw's post-Mania tag division with a Viking Raiders match, which is most definitely what they were always called. Nothing else. Oh, the Viking Experience, the name we all got so mad about last week. No, that's the name of their finishing move. Easy mistake to make. The Viking Raiders is such a cool name. It even started trending on Twitter during the show, which totally isn't because of how dumb the whole situation is. No match ever got underway here, and the Viking Raiders just beat up all Tress members of Lucha House Party, while the current Raw Tag Team Champions, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, yeah, I forgot they had the titles too, watched on backstage. Becky Lynch got a big babyface reaction next as she went back and forth with Lacey Evans on the mic before facing Alicia Fox. Becky really should have beaten Alicia in seconds here, but we were instead treated to a not very good 5-minute match. Just switch this match template with Naomi versus Billie Kay from earlier on, as nobody wants to see Lynch get worked over by Alicia Fox. Becky made her tap in the disarmer, but Lacey hit her with the women's right as soon as the bell rang. Ricochet took on the debuting love child of Joey Ryan and Silas Young next, the newly repackaged Roode Experience, with Bobby Roode not just getting the new name Robert Roode, but also a sweet new moustache. It's amazing how beneficial a slight refresher can be. With the new name, facial hair, and heel persona, Roode felt like a completely new wrestler. Watching his heel mannerisms against Ricochet made you remember just how good he was as NXT champion. And showing how much WWE potentially sees in the repackaged Roode, Ricochet took his first pinfall loss on the main roster. But that's just what happens when those long-time established tag team wrestlers try to go it alone. Yowie wowie! Bray Wyatt is the best again! Playing on the last few weeks of rather laughable Bird Raptor and creepy doll skits, Bray hosted the first edition of his Fireflyer Funhouse, a Mr. Rogers-style children's show hosted by Wyatt with very sinister undertones. As always, Bray performed the character perfectly, dipping his voice seamlessly from fun children's host to demented cult leader with an agenda throughout the segment. He wore gloves that read hurt and heal, introduced us to his best friend Mercy the Buzzard, and in a classic children's TV style bit, chainsawed his own cardboard cutout in two while laughing manically. He ended with the incredibly foreboding line that he'll light the way, all you have to do is let him in. This is brilliant, and already one of the best things WWE has done this year. It's like when the Joker convinced Gotham he was sane, and they let him start appearing on talk shows. Bray is so good at not just portraying characters, but also creating rich mythologies and backstories around them. This has so much potential. Please don't screw it up, WWE. It may be post-WrestleMania, it may be post-Superstar Shake-Up, but Baron Corbin is still main eventing Raws wearing a black shirt and trousers in April 2019. But it doesn't really matter as AJ won, setting up Seth versus Styles at Money in the Bank for their first ever match in WWE. Overall, this was a pretty average episode, with the main event scene of two triple threats making a #1 contenders match a rather uninspiring way of getting to Seth versus AJ. But the very fact we have Seth versus AJ, along with the ingenious character revamps of Wyatt, Roode, and potentially even Cesaro, has made me optimistic enough to give this week's Raw a core. Now over to Luke with the news. Oh my god, what's happened to your head?
Great review of Raw there, Ollie. I assume you'll be changing your name to Oliver Davis and growing a sweet, sweet mustache for next week. Silas Young really has some stiff competition for his real man moniker. Speaking of competition, and All Elite Wrestling have been teasing for the last couple of months who will be taking on the mantle of the Librarian. For those unaware, the Librarian is AEW's version of WrestleTalk's crap gimmick wrestling, with an unseen AEW authority figure demanding that a wrestler take on the character, with Cody, the Young Bucks et al. Seeking to find someone who can get this terrible idea over. And the search is seemingly over, with the latest episode of Being the Elite revealing that Leva Bates will be the one to take on the role. NXT fans may remember Bates as Blue Pants, a short-lived gimmick where Bates came in to do some enhancement matches but accidentally got over, to the point where she was a part of TakeOver Brooklyn 1. Cody announced Leva Bates taking on the gimmick on Twitter. So, let's see how the Young Bucks reacted to it. WTF. WTF do they mean WTF? Oh, Matt Jackson has announced someone different to be the librarian. Awkward. Yes, while Cody and Kenny Omega have picked Leva Bates, the Young Bucks instead offered the role to Peter Avalon, who also sports a sweet, sweet mustache. Maybe I should just shave off this beard and keep the tash. I mean, I haven't done anything else drastic to my look. Impact Wrestling fans might remember Avalon as EC3 foe Nerve Fernum, and it's now looking like Avalon and Bates will clash at May's Double or Nothing for the right to take on the role in an intergender match. Don't tell Eli Drake. AEW also announced their latest signing, taking to Twitter to reveal Prince Party are All Elite, who are sure to shake up the tag team division. Speaking of shaking things up, segue, and WWE have already gone back on some of their choices made last week during the Superstar Shake-Up. Raw viewers might have noticed last night that Andrade and Zelina Vega did not feature on the show, despite having a strong debut for the Red brand by beating Intercontinental Champion Finn Balor last week. You might also have noticed that Cesaro was on Raw, despite last week being announced as staying on SmackDown Live, with the Raw move seemingly splitting up his bar tag team with Sheamus, unless he's also being moved to Raw once he's back from injury and they're just not telling us yet. It was announced over the weekend that Andrade and Zelina Vega had moved back to SmackDown, with eagle-eyed fans also spotting that WWE had split up well-established tag team Aleister Black and Ricochet by moving the Dutch Destroyer to the Blue brand. PW Insider are reporting that one of the reasons Black was moved over was because Vega was also moved back, with the company looking to keep married couples together. PW Insider are also reporting that the reason to move Andrade and Vega back to SmackDown wasn't one made by WWE, but instead by Fox executives, with SmackDown moving to their stations later this year. Mike Johnson of PW Insider is reporting that Fox were concerned about the lack of Latino wrestlers on the show and want to highlight Spanish speakers for their Spanish language network, which could also hint towards who might be winning this year's Money in the Bank, with WrestleVotes reporting on Twitter that this year's men's match winner could be destined for big things. The women's Money in the Bank winners have been broadly fine, although James Ellsworth didn't get to cash in his contract for an intergender match. Don't tell Eli Drake. However, the men's winners have not had as much success over the last couple of years, with Baron Corbin failing to cash in on Jinder Mahal of all people, and Braun Strowman unceremoniously cashing in ahead of time to get his Hell in a Cell match against Roman Reigns, which ended in a no contest when Brock Lesnar returned and interfered in the match. WrestleVotes are reporting that there has been a strong push within the creative team to really have this year's men's Money in the Bank winner coming out of the whole process looking like a star. The feeling backstage is that they have completely blown the winners and cash-ins the last 2 years. Pushing a Money in the Bank winner. What a novel concept. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon pledge hammers, some of which you can see scrolling their way into my baldy stomach. Are you excited for Avengers Endgame? Then check out Pete Quinnell's epic recap of the MCU so far by clicking the video over there. I've been Luke Owen, and that was wrestling.